Everybody, John Kelly Profiler here, and welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to take a look at something that's very, very interesting, and we're going to run it down for you. Is there a serial killer in Austin, Texas? Big question. This is very, very important. And I'm kind of leaning toward there is a serial killer in Austin, Texas. First of all, before we get into that, I want to run my book by you and thank you for all the great comments you've given me, for all the great reviews and feedback on Discovering Lazarus. I can't thank you enough for all your purchases. So thank you very much. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of John Kelly, how I kicked a severe cocaine addiction, became a psychotherapist, and then moved on to become a profiler. Again, thank you so much. Also, I want to mention my friend and colleague, Tim Braun, will have his a link to his website in the discovery. I think it's important if you're interested in learning about serial killers. He did, Charles Cullen. He was involved in the movie. He was the arresting officer. Him and Danny Baldwin. They arrested Charles Cullen, the angel of death, serial killing nurse in New Jersey. So if you want to check out that link to his website, he's doing trainings all around the country, and you might be interested in booking a training with them. Okay, that will be in this discovery. Again, Tim Braun. Check the video out. It's a really good video he did there. So now let's get back to, this serial killer, possible serial killer in Austin. I believe there is a serial killer in Austin, but I want you guys to tell me what you think, okay? Oh, and also I have to thank you, and I gratefully want to thank you for all your comments and subscriptions. Please continue to comment, especially on this case. We're looking for your feedback. And thank you so very much for your subscriptions. We really appreciate it. So let's do a rundown on this case right now. Okay, 4 found dead in Lady Bird Lake in Austin, Texas, since February 23rd. Okay, 4 found dead since February 23rd. I think that could be a mistake. I think it could be February 13th. But nevertheless, since February 13th to the 23rd, we got 4 found dead at Lady Bird Lake in Austin, Texas, and all drownings, pretty much relatively young men. And, a total of 8 in the last 10 months. So there's been 4 found since, we'll say, the middle of February, and we're saying another 4 before that. Within 10 months, a total of 8 men found drowned, young and middle-aged, at Lady Bird Lake in Austin, Texas. So this is really important, okay? And I'm going to tell you why it's important. Because a lot of people are saying, yeah, well, it could be suicide. John, it could be suicide. A lot of suicides taking place. Well, I ran the numbers and did the research. And in the United States, suicide by drowning is not the preferred suicide of choice for most people. In fact, suicide by drowning is less than 2% of all suicides in the United States. So let's keep this in mind when we're thinking about 8 men found in the water, drowned in 10 months. Very important, okay? Because this is really, pushing me and leaning me more to a serial killer theory, okay? It seems all these guys came from Rainey Street, were at Rainey Street. And we love your feedback on anything you know about this too that could be important to the investigation. Any tips or information we get, we always hand over to law enforcement. We can't put the cuffs on anybody. It appears that they not only came from Rainy Street, but it appears alcohol was present in a number of these people that were found dead. The thing that's bothering me is, were they tested? Were their bodies tested for any specific drugs? You probably know where I'm going here. I'm looking at roofies, Rohypnol. I'm looking at a benzodiazepam or benzos. Versed is a central nervous system depressant, benzodiazepam that's been used by a couple different serial killers, Versed. So that's something that I'm interested in. I'm keeping my eye on. I want to know, were they specifically tested? Okay. When the toxicology testing was done on them, were they specifically tested for other drugs besides alcohol? I would hope so. But also, too, drugs don't lay in your system forever. And when you think about it, if you can get away with it, I mean, that is close to perfect on how to kill somebody. If you can figure out how to knock somebody out chemically and get them in the water, okay, and they're going to drown in there, that's pretty much almost the perfect murder. Why? Because the water is going to wash off all the evidence. And the water is going to wash off any DNA. So it's going to be very difficult to find DNA from somebody that's been in the water for any period of time. And also, too, we have to take into consideration that drowning is a terrible way to die. Okay. And, as I said, it's not high on the list for people that want to commit suicide. So we have to keep that really close to the vest and keep that, top of mind. I mean, so if we start to eliminate suicide, what are we saying? We're saying they got drunk and or just fell somehow into the lake. I mean, that lake is so polluted, people aren't allowed to even swim, I don't believe, in that lake. I mean, there's an awful lot of pollution, and I think there's a lot of pollution warnings out there about that lake, Something else is that, kind of jumps out at me. If you look at, being knocked out, that's where, you're looking at the various drugs, the various central nervous system depressants that are going to leave you unconscious, and, you're going to be a victim big time, because at that point in time, if you're unconscious, anybody can do whatever they want to you and end up putting you into the lake. Okay. The other thing that I'm concerned about, I'm wondering if all these, or at least some of these people, and I hope, and I'm sure that the Texas Austin detectives will follow up on this, because they're really a good team out there. You got some really, really good law enforcement out there. I wonder if they'll visit and get around and find out how many of these victims went to the same bar, and, how common is that particular bar, or how common is a couple of various bars, with this group. I mean, it's pretty normal with serial killers to watch them operate in certain locations. For instance, the last call killer, who was killing gay men in New York City, years ago. I mean, he had certain bars that he operated out of, in town, right in the central city and Lower East Side. He got around, but there were a few bars where he specifically met victims and took them out of, like Ted Bundy liked to work off colleges. Gary Ridgway liked to work in areas with high prostitution. So these various serial killers have certain bars that they like to work out of, that they're attached to in trolling for victims. I think that's about it for today. We're just dipping our toes into the water here. We want to bring you informative information. We just don't want to, throw a whole bunch of stuff out there and see what sticks. We want to try and make sure that this is knowledgeable and informative. So anyway, if you have anything to say, let us know. We're very interested in your comments. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day. Be safe out there, and God bless. Thank you so much.